It happened in 2014. I was doing like the ice baths and the saunas, from the mid 90s, because as part of my curriculum in college, we had to talk about called, a contrast therapy. We had to get educated in blood shunting and all that sort of stuff. So it was a part of what I was doing anyway. But then after I got mold toxicity, that's when I really started to go down the rabbit hole in 2014, looking to see what else has molds. Okay, it's in coffee, it's in wine, it's in chocolate. Wow, it's in grains as well. If those grains have not been put into out of a vat straight away, dried, or put into a vat dried straight away. And in the US, those toxicity levels are much, much higher than EU. So I just really started looking into everything on how I could optimize myself. I was at that clinic in Florida for 6 weeks. He would have had me there for 6 months based on my toxicity levels. I couldn't be away that long, and I couldn't afford to do it for that long. So that's when I went on my own protocol, my own quest. And what I realized as I started transitioning and making these small changes, like going grass-fed, going organic, going wild-caught, humane-raised, etc., I noticed the inflammation that I had, which I thought was a byproduct of just training heavy, just went. And then that's when I really looked at the inflammatory parts of food that I was consuming. And then I started looking into other advancements, other types of supplementation. Then 2017 started doing peptides. That was more so because I still participate in extreme sports, and I'm not going to slow down anytime soon. So I'll always tear something off, or I'll have surgery for something. So peptides become a part of my life in 2017. And then it's just an evolution from there. If I like inhaling hydrogen and I feel it has a positive effect on the quantification, such as my HRV, then I'm going to inhale hydrogen every day. If it doesn't have an effect, that's an expensive experiment. No, I'll sell that and move on. So I just apply things that work for me, like the brain tap, for instance. You're familiar with the brain tap? Bought it.
Just had Dr. Porter on last week or the
Patrick's
week before.
Great. Yeah. Patrick's awesome. Absolutely love Dr. Patrick. Really, really nice guy. But I do like that, but I still find my brain will wander because I've got a very fast brain and I have to do whatever I can to slow it down. So I found another device that was half the price, Muse 2, EMG, reading my brain. And you have to quieten down the noise physically with your brain waves. And that noise is like an ocean, or it's a running river or rain, but it becomes exceptionally loud when your brain does. So now I notice, well, that allows me to focus on bringing my heart rate down, going into a parasympathetic state. So I'll employ that. So different applications come from basically trial and error. And I just love it, because there's always something new and there's less to know. You think you know more, but then there's less And, peptides being one of them, like I said, went to the Congress. Unfortunately, there was nothing that I didn't already know, and that's not me blowing my horn. A lot of people thought the same thing, but peptides have been absolutely phenomenal for me. It's regrown my cartilage in my shoulder. I knocked a big chunk out snowboarding last year. It's helped me so much for me to avoid surgery. I was told in December that I needed surgery on my torn meniscus. Went and had stem cells. That worked for that, but the stem cells didn't work for my shoulder. So I took Sigma, a peptide bioregulator, completely fixed my shoulder. So these advancements that are available to us now, even though they're research purposes, is just phenomenal.
Yeah, 2017, man, you've been in the game a long time on the peptides. I mean, they were so underground back then. What have you noticed have been the peptides that have made just the overall biggest impact on your performance and then recovery as well, outside of like the ones you'll use for, surgical avoidance, like the daily staples for you?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so like I said, the Sigma, which is a peptide bioregulator, that's been phenomenal. Cartilax has been really, really good as well. Of course, we do wear down our cartilage, our joints, etc. So those peptides have been phenomenal. I do like dihexa for brain cognition. There's another one called New Pept. So I like that combination of the dihexa and the New Pept together for memory recall, cognition, yeah, I just think it's great. And I kind of like paraxanthine that I've got in here. I'm not affiliated with this, but I use paraxanthine in my pre-workouts. I don't like caffeine. Caffeine just doesn't have a good nootropic effect for me. It kind of just makes my heart race just too much. And now I can't focus because I'm just wired, you know?
Too wired. Yeah.
Yeah, way too wired. For muscle recovery, so it's going to sound like a shameless plug, but it's the dileucine peptide 185, DL185. So we introduced that to my brand probably about 5, 6 months ago. Sean Wells is a very, very good friend of mine. So he just lets me know if there's something that's coming out that he thinks that would interest me. So I grabbed that immediately. And the recovery has just absolutely been awesome. So let's say, you know, you go train legs. Next day, your legs are going to be sore. You expect that. You don't feel as sore at all. And you feel like, did I train hard enough? But it just happens. And everyone's been reporting that. So the ability to recover, because this peptide is a double bonded peptides and it gets absorbed into the bloodstream like I think it's like 100%, 89% faster than say leucine by itself, but it's a double bonded peptide. So the recovery aspect is just absolutely awesome on that. Further from that, let me see other peptides that I've been trying, like tesamorelin and ipamorelin, or ipamorelin and CJC in combination. Just find that growth hormone secretagogue, because obviously I'm 50 years old now, 51 almost next month. I just feel that, of course, my growth hormone levels are down and my ability to recover is a little bit slower, and my ability to have continuous sleep is harder. So having those peptides really help with my deep sleep aspect as well. So I'd say that, you know, there are a lot of other peptides that I'll do, like epitalon. I'll do epitalon and pineolon and thymolin about once a year, just to help reset my central nervous system. So that will help with my sleep as well. And it obviously helps with the prevention of the shortening of your telomeres. So I take it for an anti-aging purpose, like once or twice a year.
Yeah, Kris, I didn't realize you were in your 50s, man. That's incredible. Guys, if you're just listening on the audio side, like, you got to check Kris out. Like, if just seeing him, the way that he looks and the youthfulness isn't inspiring, and to take action on some of the things we're discussing.
GHKCU. There you go then. We'll go with that copper peptide.
Yeah. Any thoughts or opinions around NAD, rapamycin, and metformin?
Yeah, so NAD3, I believe, is the best out of all of them. And you can have NAD tests. So you can test these. You can test your NMN. You can test your NR or NAD when you take NAD. I like NAD in combination with like resveratrol. I like that. And spermidine. So those three together, I like that. So NAD3. I used to do the IVs years ago, but I cannot wrap my head around it, and I can't get anybody to explain to me how it's more effective. I just think it's inconvenient and it's expensive, because to me, it's like saying, okay, you're going to eat like a week or a month's worth of protein in 1 or 2 hours. Your body just cannot assimilate it all. And there's a short half-life on it. So I just don't know, I can't see the benefit on, like, you know, doing a heroic dose of NAD. But metformin, I'll do metformin, only 250 milligram in the evening before bed, you know, help with sugar stability. I'll take dihydroberberine or Cell Shield not Cell Shield, GD8 during the day to help with blood sugar regulation and help put a lot of those carbs into the muscle cell. But, you know, metformin helps with the gut microbiome as well. And then I'll take rapamycin once a week. I'll do rapamycin once a week, and that's it. From the anti-aging pills, I'd say, more than anything.
Love it. Love it. You kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, you know, in this biohacking kind of optimization space, like, people get so focused on the latest technology, the greatest hack. They're looking for the shortcut. They're missing out on doing the hard work. How do you, Kris, balance all of this with what we opened with, right? Like, doing the hard shit, but now taking advantage of all this great technology, this science. Like, how do you balance it without becoming so obsessive or disconnected from, like, still doing the hard work?
Yeah, so I kind of cycle everything. So, for instance, you know, I've got which ring do I have on? I think it's the Ultra Human ring I'm wearing. They all look the same. I got a few of them.
Got an aura, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, oh, no, it's the Gabbit. The Gabbit I'm wearing currently, sorry. Yeah, I had the Ultra. I've got the Aura as well, but it's the Gabbit that I'm testing out at the moment. I like some of them because, like Ultra Human, for instance, you can have the blood glucose monitor that syncs with your ring. So it correlates with the blood work as well that you can have from them and with your sleep. It kind of cross-pollinates each other. So I kind of like that. But what I generally do is cycle in and out with a lot of this technology because I was getting too stressed on it. So I'm like, okay, I'm up at 5 o'clock and now I've got to do the ice bath, then the cardio, then the red light, then do, the sauna, and got to do my hydrogen. And I was getting stressed out of it. And I thought, hold on, you're contradicting what you're trying to attain from this. And you're trying to get into that parasympathetic dominant state. You're trying to be in the rest and digest state and, chilled out. And now you're just getting anxious and stressed over this. You're not anxious and stressed enough. Do all these bloody biohacks. So I started just, looking at it. Look, if I have time to do the ice bath this morning, which I usually do because it's only a couple of minutes, or the cryo shower, I'll do it. If I don't have time for the red light, okay, fine. I won't look so beautiful today. You know what I mean? So I'll kind of pick and choose. But like I said, I'll choose the ones that I think I'm going to get the more bang for the buck. So hydrogen, I was always drinking the hydrogen tablets, been doing that for years, and I still do. But when I was at the Health Optimization Summit a few months ago, I don't know if you know Alex Taverna or Tyler LeBrown. They are the leaders of hydrogen. So anybody who has hydrogen, like Gary Brecker, all these companies, basically they're supplied by these guys. They'd been working on this machine for 7 years. And I tried it at the Health Optimization Summit right before a podcast. And I was in the expo. I started reading Alex's new book. And within 5-10 minutes, I'm like, I got to put that down. I went into this complete meditative state. I knew where I was. I could hear what was going on in the expo, but I was just in a zone. And then when someone tapped me to say, hey, your 45 minutes is up, I was like, oh my God, I'd fallen asleep. But I hadn't fallen asleep. I just felt like I had 5-6 hours sleep in 45 minutes. It was phenomenal. And then when I went into that podcast, I was refreshed. I felt good. So I'm like, okay, now this is something that I want to employ every day, if possible. But if not, maybe 4 times a week is going to be better than nothing. So that's how I kind of look at everything. I try before I buy. If it's good, then I'll take it home with me. Stem cells have been a life changer for me. So unfortunately, I've had them more times than I should because I keep getting, into these extreme sports and injured. But that's one of the reasons why I don't stop, because I know, well, I've got a backup here should I need to and avoid surgery. And I know it's phenomenal for my ability to recover and for anti-aging purposes as well. So I'll probably continue to do them, even if it isn't for an injury, but it's for injury prevention and obviously to help with stem cells in my organs, my liver, my kidney, heart, etc.